Hello, everybody. My name's James, and welcome to the breakfast stream. For the benefit of those listening on the audio, it's just gone 10 a.m. on check date, Friday, the 2nd of December, after a fairly crazy game, a crazy day rather, in the World Cup yesterday, where Belgium ended up with a second half XG, or actually, rather, just Romelu Lukaku ended up with a second half XG, bigger than group winners Morocco, but went out. They failed to score against Croatia. They're out. So too are Germany after a 4-2 victory against Costa Rica. But despite that victory, Japan's 2-1 victory against Spain means that Japan top the group, will face Croatia. Spain go through in second, will meet Morocco. There was a crazy period last night where, like many of you, I probably debated at halftime going, is there any point in this? Spain and Germany are both going to go on and win these games sort of 2-3-0. And there was a brief period, unbelievably, where Spain and Germany were both going out. And that's why we sit through a lot of the shit. It's for the drama like that. Right, let's see who's in the questions. I'll be covering these over the next half hour or so. Asil Salem says, hi, James. Can Spain win the World Cup despite showing flaws last night against Japan in the second half? When was the last time a team qualified in second in their group and won the World Cup? Well, I can answer that last bit of the question. Every team that's won the World Cup has finished first in their group since Italy in 1982. However, can Spain still win the World Cup? Yes, absolutely. They'll pass certain teams to death. I think there's weaknesses. I think Simon should do better on the equalising goal. If he saves that, they potentially still win the game. Obviously, it is an incredibly marginal call on the winning goal for Japan. We know that the ball was basically 98% out of play, but it has to be 100% out of play. So the thing is as well, when Spain were trying to get back into the game, once Germany had gone back in front against Costa Rica, there was no reason really for Spain to try and win it, really. I think they were giving themselves a harder path along the group if they'd have won it. So I wouldn't stress too much. I think every team in this tournament has vulnerabilities. The only one we could arguably say so far that we haven't really seen it in is Brazil. So I think we're in a very open tournament. I think Brazil were favourites by a distance, and the group now. I mean, they were almost the big winners last night. Was Brazil, in the sense that they were on the path of probably meeting. They would have been thinking it would be Spain or Germany in the quarterfinals, and now it's going to be neither. It's going to be Croatia or Japan, so long as they win their group and beat whoever finishes second in Portugal's group. So it feels like Brazil were the big winners last night from those crazy events. Can Spain still win it? Yes, absolutely. Got a lot of good players. I think they'll get themselves in situations in certain games where they dominate a lot of the ball. I didn't understand taking Morata off last night, actually, because I think it felt to me like it was exactly what they needed at that point, was a reference point at the top end of the pitch. And they didn't truly look like they were going to score, despite some incredible passing statistics. There was a lot of us looking during half time last night on passing numbers because Rodri and Pau Torres were having a ridiculous number at centre back for Spain. So they smashed the World Cup record by miles. Rodri surpassed over 200 passes, which we were looking last night. We were looking at top 5 European leagues since Opta had records on them. And Julian Weigl for Borussia Dortmund in a game in 2016 reached 199 passes. That was the best that we could find on our Slack community. And Rodri surpassed 200 last night. And they still lost. Unbelievable. Asil also says, how do you see the Croatia-Japan match and who do you think will win? Japan will have a chance, certainly. Look, they've beaten Germany and Spain. I'm still annoyed that they pissed it up the war against Costa Rica, but full credit to them for getting through. Croatia would be favourites, I think rightly so. There could be similarities to the Spain match last night in the sense that Croatia will have a lot of the ball. So Japan will have a chance. They'll go in and approach the game very similar to how they did against Germany and Spain, I think. Croatia would rightly be favourites, though, I should imagine. Sashin says, good morning, James. Good morning, Sashin. Says, would it be possible to perhaps talk through teams you favour in the round of 16 and perhaps run through players and teams to target for round of 16, unlimited transfers in the FIFA game, please? Gosh, I mean, my interest in the FIFA game is none. Although I did check the leaderboard this one, I'm about 600 actually. Although I've only got Bruno Fernandes to go today. Can I be honest with you, Sasha? I give it next to no fault. But my initial instinct on it would be captaincy, Messi Saturday, move to Mbappe Sunday. I think probably defensive. You'd look in defensively from other favourites. So yes, Argentina, yes, France, arguably an English defender. I think Spain still potentially against Morocco could be one. It's definitely one for the Sky managers, by the way. Spain defensive, I think. Although Morocco are definitely capable of beating them, no doubt about it. Midfield feels like it's always a bit of a drama, so I think probably sticking in a reliable player like probably Bruno Fernandes in there will be wise. Have I looked at it in any detail yet? Nope. Nope. Won't do till late tonight, mate. Asil says, now that we know the brackets, give us your predictions on the teams that you think will reach the semi-final. So potentially mouthwatering Brazil, Argentina, semi-final looks possible. And I think the other one at the moment, France v Spain, probably still. So they're the front four in the betting. Ones that could push beyond that, obviously Netherlands could beat Argentina. I still don't rule USA out, but I think Argentina would rightly be favoured on that quarter of the draw now. Definitely Brazil on their quarter of the draw. Portugal are definitely capable of beating Spain if that's who they end up meeting. And obviously it's not impossible for England against France, but I think France v Spain, Brazil v Argentina would right now be the favoured final four, and that's what I'd go with. I think it was probably one previously where I think I'd fancy Spain more against Portugal than I would have fancied Germany against Portugal, is my take. But Portugal could definitely beat them. I'm the dude says, imagine if Suarez handballs on the line again today. Do you know what? This has obviously been raging on for 12 and a half years since the handball against Ghana in South Africa in that quarterfinal. And I've never understood the rage about it. I really haven't. I mean, Suarez has done some terrible things in football, but he handballed the ball on the line to save his team. He knew what the punishment would result in a penalty. He knew what the punishment would result in a red card. And that's what happened. It's not like he got away with it. I mean, if you reference it, say, with Maradona in '86, Maradona got away with it. Suarez was punished. He handled the ball on the line. He got sent off and it was a penalty. I really don't know what the whole rage about that particular incident has been. Because what? What, he should just let the ball go in the goal? I mean, he probably could have headed it, in fairness, but that's what he decided to do in a momentary reaction for his nation. I've never understood the rage about that moment from people. Joey, like it was disgusting, like he bit someone, exactly, like he was racist. Like Suarez has done so many worse things than that. Joey TCB says, morning, James. Loved that round of games. Belgium were painful to watch, though. What did you have for breakfast? I haven't had anything today at all. I had a coffee about 7:15, but I've had nothing else because Planet FPL Food on Patreon today has turned into a mukbang live stream. And if you don't know what a mukbang is, it's basically me and Suj stuff our faces with as much food as we can, and we're going to live stream it. I really have no idea why we're going to do this, but the idea of Planet FPL Food evolves to something far greater on the watch along we did during Brazil Switzerland on Monday, and yeah, I genuinely I don't know why anyone would want to watch it, but if you want to support us on patreon.com/Planet FPL, Asil says, how shocking was Lukaku yesterday? I mean, I have some sympathy in the sense that he hasn't played since August, but I mean the one at the end where he chested it, head it, and I know that on the commentary we're like, he couldn't tell if it was going to come, head it. What are you thinking in that moment? Like, get yourself ready in a body shape, shoulder back, get yourself ready to dive at the ball and head it. You cannot miss. And he chests it, stoop down if you're not prepared. He's unprepared. I feel bad judging him because, like I said, he's been out injured for 4 months. But yeah, he should have won the game for them yesterday. As I said, his XG in that game, incredibly, was higher than Morocco's in the whole group stage. And he only came on at half-time. Madness. Louis says, hi, James. The group stages have given us some major upsets so far. Do you think we'll see another one in the round of 16? Definitely. I'll tell you where we won't see it. and I mean this with the best respect, Australia will not beat Argentina. Poland will not beat France. The other games, not certainties. And I would think if Brazil play with respect anyone from Portugal's group bar Portugal, I would be extremely confident they'd win. From the other 5, yeah, there'll be a shock. I don't know which one, but there will be a shock somewhere. Would we judge USA beating the Netherlands as a massive shock? That's the one I'd think. And I would certainly say, as much as I kind of talked up Spain earlier, Morocco will give them a game. They're good defensively. I don't think it's a terrible matchup for Morocco at all. And I don't know if there's any kind of rivalry there from a Moroccan sense, because although they're different continents, I mean, it's not far on a boat to go from Morocco to Spain. So I don't know if there's that element to it as well. Morocco gives Spain a game. I wouldn't be staggered if they beat them. The ones that would stagger me is if Australia, Poland win. I just cannot see those two nations getting through. Romanthan says Morocco may be able to upset Spain from how Spain reacted to Japan yesterday. Yeah, exactly that. Andy P says, great what you're doing, James. Sky question, got one transfer left to use. Have Xhaka and Richarlison. Who's Xhaka? Where do you recommend? I'm struggling here to pick. Xhaka. Oh, I presume it's meant to be Xhaka. I don't know what I'm doing yet today. I have 2 free transfers. In the end, yesterday, I just bought Rudiger, and I'm kind of glad that I did avoid it, considering the carnage that happened, because I'd have been trying to force in second Germany or second Spanish defender or Leroy Sané, who I just got an assist, I think. So I'm pleased that I saved it. I don't think Ronaldo's going to play now today. I actually moved in FIFA. I actually moved into Morata last night and captained Morata. So 2 Portuguese players is my idea. I think Bruno Fernandes will be one if he's in the team. The other, I'm going to wait till I look at it and see it. I could completely change, because if I get nervous about the Portugal team, if there's sort of 7-8 changes, then I may go punty on Brazilian players like Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus, Anthony, for example. But I think Bruno Fernandes, I'm assuming Ronaldo's not going to play, because every time it comes out, Ronaldo's 50-50, doesn't play. So I don't think he's going to play. I think Bruno Fernandes is probably the one for me, and captain. Rafael Leao, I like 7.9. If he's in the team, that's the one I really like today. I'll have a look at the defensive ones as well. It's really going to depend on their lineup. If I'm not happy with it, I will just go in and punt a couple of Brazilian players tonight. So it might be Eder Militao and one of the attacking players, possibly. Meninda says, who are the highest upside captaincy punts in Sky today? There are loads. Because there's going to be some split today, I think. We think Brazil are going to change nearly the whole team, but we don't actually know it at the moment. So I think people will gravitate towards that Portugal team. I think Darwin Núñez is a really interesting one, potentially against Ghana. They've got to win, but haven't impressed yet, haven't scored. Mohamed Kudus, obviously, of Ghana, is pretty cheap and has done well so far. I wouldn't be captaining Sonny, personally. I don't see them beating even an understrength Portugal team. So I think a lot of us will gravitate to a Portuguese player, but I think that will go in different directions. I spoke about Rafael Guerreiro as an option yesterday quite a bit. He's not out of my thinking. So there are loads of upside ones. And remember as well, Meninda, there are a lot of people who will have used their transfers yesterday and don't have options, but to resort to something they've got, like a Xhaka. We don't think Richarlison's going to start, for example, as per the previous question from Andy. Mark Williamson says, hi, James. What an evening. Even the wife looked up from her crochet. Who is your favourite commentary duo? John and Ali for me. Yeah, John Champion and Ali McQuest. To be honest, Ali McQuest I think's probably the best. Just something warm about Ali McQuest that feels right, like he understands you, the viewer, which I think is really important. So yeah, I would go with that. I put Harry in the bath at half time. The wife was out. And I genuinely just thought there's no point rushing it. I took him out the bath, and obviously Japan had equalised, and then it was just carnage from there. And I kept missing it because I kept flicking between the 2 channels, and whichever one I was on seemed to be a goal in the other game. So I couldn't tell you anything tactically about what Japan did in those 15 minutes or so, because I'd gone back to the Germany game at the start of the second half, and I just kept missing the moments. But it was carnage. It was great. Mark Williamson says, "Hi James, what an evening." That's what we've done. Thomas Hall says, "Good morning, James. Thanks for the World Cup content, mate. You've been smashing it. Cheers, pal. I will do these streams again Monday and Tuesday, by the way. After that, I haven't decided yet, but yeah, 10 a.m. Monday and Tuesday again." Mark Williamson says, "Great to catch one live, even if it is because of flu. I wish you well, Mark." Gary Reza says, "Morning, mate. What on earth does mukbang mean?" It's eat all you want stuff, mate. I think it's going to be kebabs and all sorts. So yeah. Hollis Stamos says, "That was the tightest call I ever saw on Croatian penalty. Thankfully, didn't hurt us on the end." I mean, yeah, that kind of in the Japan goal last night. That's been forgotten about the offside on the Croatian goal. Sorry, penalty incident, which was ridiculously close. I think it was soft decision anyway, so I wasn't fussed. It took so long. And it doesn't help that the ruling on that is when a VAR intervenes on an offside where the player hasn't touched the ball, they have to send the referee to the monitor. So he had to wait for Anthony Taylor to go to the monitor as well. So it took too long. Then I think about the Japan one. It obviously took so long. That's such a unique situation in terms of whether Mitoma kept the ball in play or not. That one truly did feel like take as long as you have to, I think, and I don't normally feel like that. With the Croatian one, I was a bit frustrated with it personally. Keza says, "Morning, James. Wasn't that the craziest evening of football ever?" I just couldn't believe looking at that table that Spain had beat that moment where Spain had beaten Costa Rica 7-0 and were on the verge of going out to them was just blowing my mind. It was impossible that Spain and Germany could both go out in that group. It was impossible going into the games last night that Spain could go out. The only way Spain were going to go out is if they really blew it themselves and Germany properly battered Costa Rica and got near Spain 7-0. So the fact that they managed to get themselves in a position where they were very briefly going out, and it only lasted about 3 minutes. But I even tweeted, I was like, "This is unbelievable, another Costa Rica goal," and they'll go out, and then it happened. It was one of them where were you kind of moments like, I can't believe what I'm seeing, and that's why we love the game, right? Joseph Burke says, "Good morning." Kez also says, "Also, has anyone seen that angle of the Japan assist yet, or is this just proving that FIFA are corrupt?" Stayed in play, mate. I don't know why on ITV's coverage after the game, they showed an angle, which was kind of the VAR line angle, and they were like, "Oh, we need the angle." It's on the screen in front of you, so I don't know if the guys in the studio weren't seeing it, but from that angle, it looked like a fractional part of the ball was in play. And by law, it looks wrong, because it looks like it should be out, right? By law, it's right. John MacArthur says, "Morning, James. One move left, so wondering your thoughts on Brazil players. Already have Vinicius and was thinking either Rafinha or Jesus. Any ideas?" We don't at the moment think Vinicius Junior or Rafinha are going to start currently, so it would be defined by that to say Jesus from them. I think Anthony could be an interesting one. Um, difficult. Difficult. We don't think Bruno G is going to play, which is a strange one, because I think even he could have been interesting. Emmanuel Topo says, "Good morning, mate. Do you think Spain intentionally lost to Japan? And why does Enrique hate Germany and Flick?" No, I don't. But I do think in the last 10 minutes, once Germany had gone back in front, they knew that they didn't have to do anything. And it didn't make sense for them to... It just, to be honest, it didn't make sense for them to go gung-ho for it. And I think they were trying to score, but I don't think they were asked about it. I think you'd have seen more from Spain if they'd have genuinely been under threat from elimination at that stage. Did they intentionally lose? No. Germany didn't intentionally carry on losing to Costa Rica, which would have been amusing. Rich Jarvis says, "Morning, James. Happy National Japan Day." I don't know if it's true, but if you're Japanese and it is your national day, happy National Japan Day. What a result. Thanks for all you do. In your opinion, post 86 World Cup, what is the biggest World Cup upset? Biggest? I mean, I think in terms of actual betting odds, I think it was possibly Saudi Arabia against Argentina in this tournament. Cameroon against Argentina in 1990 springs to mind. I think those two, actually, the two involving Argentina. Senegal against France 2002 would be another one. Opening group games, real shockers. Meninda says, "Is it worrying how many people didn't realise that ball is a spherical shape, so it looks different from different angles, perspectives?" It's just Twitter, mate. It's just Twitter. Ethan Hood says, "Do you see any shocks today? I reckon Ghana get through versus Uruguay." Yeah, I predicted it for a 0-0, so I think they will actually. Um, I wouldn't call that a shock as such. Ethan FPL Bio says, "Do you think Spain sneakily came second on purpose?" I think we've covered this now, but thanks for the question. Abilash says, "Who would you go for in the official FIFA game between Bruno, Anthony, Kudos, or Tadic, assuming all of them start?" If they all start, Bruno Fernandes, for me, yeah, I think South Korea have weaknesses. So, and I think a Bruno without Cristiano Ronaldo, if that's how it is, doesn't appear worse for him. Ryan says, "I know this could be a podcast in itself, but what next for Germany? I disagree with changing the coach as others have suggested, but I don't know. What do you think?" It's unfathomable that they've gone out two World Cups in a row because essentially I've lost to Mexico, South Korea, and Japan. It just seems unthinkable. So whatever situation they're in, Germany shouldn't be losing those games, or certainly they shouldn't be losing three of those games in the last two World Cups. Yeah, a shock can happen. A Mexico or a Japan can happen, but to keep having it, no, we know their quality. We saw that in the game against Spain at the weekend. And interestingly, with Germany, we've spoken so highly for what feels like my whole life about the strength of their mentality. You know, when Germany get to a major tournament, Germany turn it on. That's no longer the case, is it? And I don't know if it's a backstory going back even to, I mean, obviously they won the trophy in 2014, but a lot of that was off the back of kind of this revolution that happened kind of originally under Jurgen Klinsmann that Joachim Low took on from 2006 onwards, where they really were changing and integrating this new young group of Germans, because the team that even reached the final in '02 was shite. It was essentially Oliver Kahn in goal and Michael Ballack could win the game for them. They were so average, the most average team that's ever got to a World Cup final. The Croatia of 4 years ago would have beat that Germany '02 team. Then they reached this level in 14 where I think we'd all nod in agreement and go, yep, thoroughly deserved to win that. And that was after getting 4 against England, 4 against Argentina in 2010 as well. I don't know if they've modelled their football too much away from what's natural to German players. They have taken on this, I would say, this more of a Spanish style, I would say, over the last decade or so. And whether they need to move back away from that. But you look at it's not like you don't have young talents. You look at people like Musiala coming through. I mean, he had 24 touches in the penalty box last night, which is an astonishing number, and didn't get an attack in return. There'll be forwards in the Premier League won't get 24 touches in the box in a season. So I think, yeah, probably defensively they need to get some younger players into the squad and stuff. But I don't know if we can define it. And I don't think changing the manager is the answer. What's interesting was I was thinking this last night when Germany and Spain were both going out. I was thinking, how many of the England fans who would like Southgate to go would take Hansi Flick or Luis Enrique at this point, even if they got eliminated from the tournament? And I was just quietly having a little think about how Gareth quietly is doing okay, actually. Liam Doyle says, "Hi James, have Roche, Cancelo and Marquinhos today. Cancelo, the natural captain, no transfers left after going all in on Germany yesterday. Yeah, I think if he's in the team, yeah. Otherwise, you're probably going to have to go with Roche, the Uruguayan keeper. But I predicted it for a 0-0. And I think the longer it goes, the less likely Ghana will be to score. So I don't hate that. FPL fella says Ghana should be raging that they missed the penalty. That's in reference to obviously the Suarez red card. Craig Boy Crook says, "Hi James, hope you ate well. I did a surgery and forgot to make changes yesterday. Have 3 transfers left this week in Sky. What are your suggestions? Wait for the teams and take it from there, mate." So again, I'll post on our Sky FF Slack channel what I'm going to do. But yeah, I think the closer it's getting, the more I'm just going to lean in quite heavily to Portugal, I think, unless that team really spooks me. Ryan says, "I think the Suarez thing is more outcome orientated than anything, to be honest. If Jan scores the penalty, we'll move on. But because he missed and they went on to lose, Suarez became the standout scapegoat." I mean, it's a little bit like Ronaldo's wink after Rooney, right? I mean, we all hated him for it, but so what? Like, like life goes on. Also, he winked at the bench. He helped get Rooney sent off. Listen, let's be honest. Wayne Rooney deserved to get sent off. So yeah, get over it. Carl Bugler says, "Come on, people, hit the like. Have a good day, everyone." Yes, please do. It doesn't cost anything. Smash a like, people. We'll cover 4 more comments we'll cover John Cale says, "Hi, James. If Dani Alves and Telles both start for Brazil, who would you prefer for the World Cup fantasy?" Telles, I would imagine, would be the more offensive of the two. Greg Cook says, "New to Sky Fantasy and transfers are confusing." Would try playing the FIFA game, mate. Any suggestions with 2 free transfers today? Cancelo, Vinicius Junior, Richarlison to play. Thinking go early based on team news, but open suggestions. Like I said, we think Brazil are going to mass change the majority of the team. So Richarlison, we don't think will start. Vinicius Junior, we think probably isn't. So again, any doubts? I think Portugal have a decent enough fixture where you can go into their assets. You get an overhaul after this round anyway. So it's 1 week punts, 1 day punts, and essentially after tonight, you've got till first kickoff tomorrow, which is Netherlands, USA rather. I just can't get used to saying Netherlands. Sorry. To go all in today, mate. Use the transfers. Any doubts? Go to Portugal players, I think. Andy Martin says, "Hope I'm not too late to say thanks for this every morning." You're very welcome, Andy. We will speak very soon. Clash of the Correspondents will be returning soon, and Andy will be on one of them with Johnny Pregel to preview Leeds game week 17 encounter with Manchester City. And finally, Christian Ari Rotti says, "Thank you for your amazing daily stream." You are very, very welcome. I think that's covered off all the questions. So as said, I'll be continuing with these streams next Monday and Tuesday, definitely. It may just continue throughout the World Cup. Definitely Monday and Tuesday. To give reactions to the weekend and obviously the final last 16 knockout games. There's no World Cup games Wednesday, Thursday, so we may do something different those days. As said, obviously, plenty of times if you want to support the show, www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. If you sign up today to intermediate or advanced tier, you can come watch me and Serge stuff our faces. Yep, the sort of shit you only get on Patreon. But we do some good stuff, and thank you very much to all those who fed back on the Vayner World podcast that we released yesterday. I'm glad that that's been really well appreciated. And advanced tiers, I've got a little bonus for you today as well. So as well as the goals review, analysing yesterday's World Cup games, I've got a little bonus short talking tactics for you today on Cole Walker, because I'd mentioned this on Tuesday night. Cole Walker's opening 5 minutes against Wales. What happened? I looked through it because something weird happened in the first 5 minutes that didn't happen again. I'm going to analyse that for you later today as well. Just leaves me to say thank you very much to those who joined in on the stream and submitted questions. Smash a like, and for the benefit of those on the audio, have a great weekend, and cue music please, man child.